Hey, what's up, guys? It's bright. Trying to find a spot where the sun's not going to kill us with the overexposure on this little camera today. Give me just a second and try to block it. Just, sun's out and it's bright and shiny. I had the same problem last time I was on a live stream. I have to start doing this in the evenings. Woo! That is very bright. The sun just comes in here just right, I guess, in this spot. So good morning, guys. What's happening? Looks like a few people are starting to pop in on the chat. T. Teresa Flory, Dolphin Man, Rebecca, Dolphin Man. Good to see you guys. Glad everybody come on this morning. I know 10 o'clock's a terrible time for a live stream for most people, but you know, it is what it is. I don't know. It's kind of inconvenient for me too on most days. I mean, like today it's a beautiful day outside. I need to be outside doing my chores, but I try to make a commitment to do this live stream. Seriously. This is funny. I don't know if y'all can see this. It says Dirt Patch Heaven is calling. Hello. Hey. I sure will. I'm on live stream right now, but I will call you back. No, you're fine. It's okay. It's funny. All right. Bye. Well, that never happens. Julianne from Dirt Patch Heaven just called me. Like a celebrity just called me on the phone. Did you see that? You saw it. I don't know if you could read it, but it said Dirt Patch Heaven. So what's going on where you guys are? Where's everybody at? Where are you? Let me know where you're at. Let's see what parts of the country we're reaching out to this morning. Chelsea says 8 a.m. here, headed to pick up baby chicks. That's awesome. I really need to consider getting on that. I just haven't got that far yet. Jonathan Ransom, man, that's twice you've been on my live stream. What's up, dude? Lonely Prepper Homestead says greetings all. So yeah, I haven't even really considered chicks yet this year. I really need to get on that. I just need to line things out because we're going to be out of town in May for a couple weeks. So I either need to figure out, get them way ahead of time so they're going to be big and not hard to take care of, or wait till after May, which I really don't want to do that. So got to figure that out. I'm really considering doing some meat birds this year. I haven't done any meat birds in a couple years. Didn't have a lot of success with them, but I'm thinking about either getting the red rangers, which are a little different than the Cornish cross, or maybe doing the Cornish cross because I saw some stuff on Doug and Stacy's channel where they were free ranging their Cornish cross and they looked great. They were several months old, lived way longer than what they should have. So I hadn't made it that far yet. We'll get on that. I need to get planning on that stuff. Let's see. East Texas. Let me scroll back up if it'll let me. Way up northern mountains of Georgia is where Dolphin Man is. Mom and Pa's old homestead, Kentucky. Dirt Patch says, loved your Dutch spoof. You both are so funny. That was kind of a unplanned deal. I didn't plan on doing that until after he did it. We got to talking and he was like, hey, yeah, you should do one. So I just kind of threw it out there being goofy. I don't know. That's half the fun of YouTube for me. Man, I'm not a super serious guy on YouTube. I just keep it fun and light, and I hope somebody gets something from it. You know, if one or two people decide to pick up gardening this year, or one or two people, you know, I don't know, something. If you pick something up, then I succeeded. Looks like we got quite a few people coming on. Susan Sullivan, Suburban Hillbilly, Dirt Patch Heaven's here. Everybody knows Dirt Patch, right? I mean, she called me on the phone just now. I don't know what it's about. Hopefully I didn't do something wrong. But that's awesome. Like, she's a celebrity. In our little world of YouTube, she's a celebrity, right? All right, Cody Goodman. I guess he's coming from Southeast Oklahoma, so he's not too far from me. I'm South Central Oklahoma, and it is beautiful today. We had a few days in, let's see, it was probably close to 80 degrees, and then, man, we had a couple days that was, I guess yesterday really was the cold day for us. It was like 35 degrees, and the sun's back out today, so I'm excited to get outside and get some stuff done. Chelsea Dorn says, we're going to do Red Rangers too. We did 30 Cornish cross and free range them, and they lived to butchering about 9 weeks, 7 to 8 pounds each. So yeah, I've never really free ranged the Cornish cross. When I did them, I had them in a cage, kind of like Joel Salatin, and moved it around the yard every day. But I kind of got them a little late that year, and it got into summertime, and they got so hot, it was really bad. I think my stream is not going to do very well today, guys. It's not wanting to work out. Chelsea Durham says, do you think a high tunnel is a good investment? I do personally. It depends on where you're at and what your environment is and what kind of growing conditions you have and what you're wanting to do. For me, the high tunnel, I got lucky and got it on a grant and got most of it paid for. So it's kind of up to you. Do you want to grow through the winter, or are you just wanting season extension? I've got a neighbor who's a market gardener, and he has 2, 3, 4 high tunnels, 5 high tunnels, and he doesn't grow all the way through the winter, but he's looking for season extension. So he wants his tomatoes and all of his crops in earlier, so he's the first one in our area to have them. Now, the guy that built my high tunnel, he's an older gentleman that he's got a whole business building high tunnels, and he's got probably 30 himself. And he sent me a message last night, and he planted tomatoes in his high tunnel yesterday. So it depends on what you're wanting to do. I say all that to say, if you're wanting to get early crops before everyone else, if you're selling tomatoes or you're selling crops and you want to be the first one to market with tomatoes, yes. Because like yesterday, like he planted tomatoes in the ground yesterday. That was February 2nd, right? It's today the 3rd. He planted tomatoes in the ground in his high tunnel, and he's going to put a layer of plastic over them because the tomatoes are only about this tall right now. And he's going to put a small tunnel over them. And then on the really cold nights, he'll throw another layer of plastic over, and then they're inside the high tunnel, so they'll be under 3 layers of plastic. He's looking to get tomatoes. He's looking to be picking tomatoes in May probably. So, I mean, he's way ahead of everybody. So, do I think it's a good investment? Yes, it can be if it works for your scenario. If that's what, I don't know what you're wanting to do with it. For me personally, I want to be able to grow for us year round. I want to be able to grow all winter long, not necessarily tomatoes and peppers and all the summer crops, but there's a lot of cold season crops that I can grow through the winter in that high tunnel. And this year was kind of not the best. I'm still learning. I'm getting those raised beds built in there. I think by next winter I'll have it pretty well figured out. So my comments section will not let me scroll up, guys. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know how to open it in a separate box because I missed several comments while I was talking. I was kind of on a roll there. I know I can open it separately, but I do not remember how. Well, maybe not. Homestead Dad said, love today's video, Daniel. That video, if you haven't seen it yet, you really need to go watch it. It's kind of long, but it's just kind of mostly dedicated to Houston and his day the other day. And it was one of those videos that when I published it, I was just really proud of it. It turned out good. I wish I'd have I couldn't find the right music to make it feel right. So I left the music out of it, and Jonathan says the 3 dots on the top right, I think. Yeah, pop out chat. Good job, Jonathan. Maybe that, yeah, that chat will let me scroll. The other one, for some reason, won't let me scroll up and down today. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, so that video today is called His Heart Hurts, and it was just all about Houston. I love it when I get Houston around to make those videos with him, because everybody just loves to watch that little blonde-headed kid. He's a heartbreaker, and everybody loves him. So Randall Shaw, hello. He said, you guys crack me up. Well, that's what it's about. Work, my job, everything is super serious. It's professional, and YouTube is just the real me. Most of the time I have to put on this separate person almost to go to work. And then when I come home, it is what it is. And I just enjoy making these videos. I like editing. The editing is fun. It's just a hobby. And, it seems like some people enjoy the videos. So there you go. Homestead Dad said, uploading my canner video tomorrow. I can't wait to see it, man. I'm going to have to watch that one, because some of those are getting kind of crazy. And the Texas boys, the 3 kids, how many kids there were, they were all running around like crazy. Their video was interesting. They were opening that can with a Sawzall, and I just kept waiting for one of those kids to lose a finger. I was really cringing on that video. Fuel Homestead, a little late. Oh, you're not a little late. We've just been on about 10, 12 minutes, so you haven't missed much. Just me rambling mostly. Homestead Dad says, do your coworkers know about your YouTube channel? And if so, what is their reaction? So, yeah. Probably for the first 6 months that I was really pushing out these videos, nobody locally really knew about it, because I wasn't advertising it on Facebook and pushing it hard. So it was kind of building a community of people that really didn't know me. Some of my friends knew, but lately, probably within the last 2 or 3 months, locally in our town, in our area, it's kind of caught on, and the kids will come home from school. Weston come home from school the other day. He was in ag. He got a whole class of ag. I don't know if your schools have that. It's agriculture education. So FFA, 4-H type stuff. And he said, Dad, all we did all day in ag was watch your YouTube videos. And then Emily's in 3rd grade, and one day last couple weeks ago, she come home and said, yeah, we watched 3 or 4 of your videos. And I don't know. As far as coworkers go, some of them I think know about it, and they probably talk about it behind my back more than they do in front of me, because it's kind of like I don't know, awkward. They don't understand it. The ones that know about it don't understand it. They don't get it. Most people, and that's understandable, because most people in law enforcement, they want their life private. Most people that are in the public eye want, for the most part, what they do at home to stay private. And I don't know, I enjoy it. And one of my goals that I've said for a long time as part of this YouTube channel is to show that, there's a lot of people in our country that hate law enforcement. And there's a lot of people in our country that don't like a cop just because he's in uniform, and they see somebody in uniform and they just automatically, they're against them. And, part of my goal is to go, all right, listen, I'm no different than you. I'm the same every day, except I have a little bit different job. Don't hold that job against me, because that job isn't who I am. That's what I do for a living. That's what I do to earn a paycheck. I love my job, and I have a lot of respect for a lot of people, and a lot of respect for the job, and everyone goes about it differently. But that's one of my goals of this channel, is to show, just because I'm in law enforcement doesn't mean I'm any different than anybody else. And I really wish I could do more in the area, of law enforcement with my YouTube channel. It's just a fine line that I don't want to cross and get in trouble. So, do my coworkers know about it? I think some do. I don't think they all do, because I I don't go to go to lunch with those guys while we're working and be like, hey, watch my videos. See, there's a perfect example. Jonathan Ransom lives in the same town I do, and he said, I had no idea you made videos until about a month ago. So I don't, it's not that I'm embarrassed of it or, I just don't push it out to the local community because it's weird, I mean, I get along. I mean, I don't know where I was going with that. I get along. I have I know most of our community. It's a town of like 4,500 people, maybe. Small town. Been here my whole life, so I know most of the community. And with my job, I'm in the public eye, and so most of the public in town here don't know what I'm doing for the most part. It's picked on. It's picked up more lately. It's caught on, and I get a lot of questions about it. And I walked through the basketball gym a while back, and at a high school game, and I'm walking through the gym, through the stands. There's several hundred people, and I hear a I don't know, 14, 15-year-old kid go, Arms Family Homestead, kind of cool. All right, I got to catch up in the comments, guys. I'm way behind. Fuel Homestead says, some lady stopped me in the grocery store one day and said, you don't know me, but you've helped me so much. Makes it all worth it. That's cool. I haven't really had too many people. There's been a few people say, hey, I watch your videos and, I'm going to grow a garden this year. Or I watch your videos and I'm thinking about getting chickens. And that is a cool feeling. I mean, that's why we're doing this. If you're a YouTube creator in this, self-sufficient living, homestead, whatever realm, that's what most of our goal is to get people to go, okay, there's a difference in this store-bought tomato and the one that I grew from my garden. And that feeling of growing that tomato and tasting the difference, yeah, that's what I want everybody to know. Brad Talby says, have a live video on midnight shifts. I just can't. I don't think the state would go for that. I'd turn my phone on and do a live video while I was in the car while nothing's going on. I just don't think the state would go for that. So I don't know. Maybe if my channel grows big enough, I just feel like when it's small and there's not, I don't really want to take it to my boss and be like, hey, I've got this little YouTube community of 2,000 subscribers or 3,000 subscribers, and I want to get on and post videos while I'm in uniform. There's just, I don't know. If I had a bigger following, I think I might have a little more ground to stand on and say, hey, I want to use this for public relations and show, hey, this is us in uniform. I think it would be cool to post a few videos. There's just that fine line and that conflict of interest because I am making an income off of YouTube. Not a lot, but my videos are monetized. So there's that potential. So if I'm making money off of YouTube while I'm working, that's the conflict of interest, and they're not going to like that. Poultry, good to see you. Glad you're on here. Got a moderator. Brad Talby says, I was saying our local police department has one on Facebook called Policing Our Community. And there's some good examples. There's a police officer in, is it Arkansas? He blew up, went viral several months ago on Instagram and Facebook, and he's real big in community policing, and it's a really awesome deal. Obviously, his police department's behind it because he walks around with a camera all the time, but he's not necessarily doing it for YouTube. It's Instagram and Facebook. His name's Officer Tommy Norman. Look him up on Facebook and Instagram. Really cool videos. Living Like Claire says, I wanted to say how much I love your videos, Daniel, and seeing you in Houston together is so sweet. Thanks, Claire. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're watching. We have a lot of fun together. We have a lot of fun making those videos. It's funny because you can go back. You don't see Weston much on our videos these days, but if you go back to like our first videos before we were Arms Family Homestead YouTubers, when we were just making hunting videos and fishing videos. It was all Weston when he was younger. Everything was about Weston. And he's just kind of got too cool. He's just not into it right now. So Houston's coming up in it, and he really enjoys it. And you can really tell he's getting used to that camera. Wheat Tree, I must have missed something. I don't know if you deleted a comment or what. It just says this is a family-friendly channel. I don't know, did I miss something? There's the Texas boys. We were just talking about you in your video with the can opener. That one, that's a good video. Y'all did a really good job. I was just scared to watch it because I was waiting for somebody to lose a finger. Dolphin Man says, I'm driving a mountain grandma to the city store, and no joke, she has her double barrel shotgun with her. Homestead Dad says, how does your wife feel about YouTube? Seems she's a reluctant participant. My wife is the same. Okay, so my wife is not comfortable in front of the camera at all, and she's been open about that. She doesn't mind me doing the YouTube videos and stuff. And if you go back and watch a lot of our videos, you'll see her in there from time to time. She doesn't mind being on camera. She does not like talking to the camera at all. She just, I don't know. She just doesn't she just not comfortable with it. She's cool with the YouTube channel. I think sometimes she gets a little aggravated because it takes up so much time sometimes. But she's on board with it. She's just not necessarily a willing participant in as far as getting in front of the camera and talking. So she's gotten better, but she's still not just gung-ho about it. So anywho, Living Like Claire says, I got to go for now. Got stuff to do. Been slacking. All right, good to see you. Glad you made it on here. All right, Wheat Tree, thanks. Said you're just stating facts about my channel. I appreciate it. Thanks for looking out for me. Texas Boy says, my mom prays every day that we don't get hurt. I bet so, because, wow. That was a gutsy move in that video. That was, oh well. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Texas Boys, the Texas Boys on YouTube. It's just they participated in the little collab that Homesteading with Dutch did on his can opener video. One Lost Dude says, where did Houston get that blonde hair from? Man, that boy wasn't born with blonde hair. Believe it or not, when he was born, his hair was almost jet black for about the first week, and then it fell out. Like, all of his hair fell out, and when it grew back in, it was as blonde as it could be. I don't know. When you go back and look at old pictures of my wife and I, my hair was a lot lighter as a kid, and hers was definitely blonde as a kid, and it was blonde and straight, and then as she got older and went through puberty, it curled up and turned brown. So maybe his will stay blonde. Everybody loves it. I've tried to cut it, tried to get it cut, and tried to get it cut, and all the women in the family get mad at me. Chicka Wolf Ranch says, my wife has really come around to being on camera. I think it's only because she knows I enjoy it. And I agree. If you go back and watch, like at Christmas when we went to Nashville for family vacation, you could tell my wife got a lot more comfortable on video on that trip. She did a really good job. She knew it was important to me, and we were going to be together all week, and I was going to have the camera on, and it was like she just sucked it up and did it, and it looked natural. And so she can do it. She's not going to go out and turn the camera on by herself for sure. Freedom Maker says, hey y'all, Sunshine and I just watched His Heart Hurts. She says Houston is her new friend and she doesn't like him to cry. Well, that's sweet. You know, I know what you're saying, because Houston loves watching Justin Rhodes. Mr. Brown he's like Mr. Brown's #1 fan. That's kind of our nightly ritual before bed, as we all sit down and watch Justin Rhodes' video for the day. It's kind of trickled off a little bit since they're not doing so much farming type videos. Houston's not too interested in this bus conversion, but I think once they get on the road and start showing some cool stuff, he'll enjoy it a little more. But Amanda at Freedom Acres, her and her daughter Sunshine, hey, that's awesome. I'm glad she enjoys watching Houston. I really wish I could put out more videos with him because everybody loves Houston. Rick and Alicia Stelling says hello from Wisconsin. I bet it's a lot colder where you are today than it is here. Phil Holmes said, see you later. Should just stop by to say hi. Later, Tater. See ya. Ma and Paul Ozark, another YouTube romance. I don't know about that, but, you know, he's 4. Chicka Wolf says, notice that she looked more natural. Yeah, if you're talking about over our Christmas vacation, she did. There were several times she talked on the videos, and she did fine. But since then, she hadn't been real enthused. Dolphin Man says, when you and your son let all your goats out, do they just run on the homestead? They come back to eat? How do you get the goats back in? Okay, so, I mean, you can tell in the videos we're way out in the country. Our closest neighbor's half a mile away. And we're in the timber. There's a lot of timber here. And I turn my goats out all the time. That pen they're in is only a couple acres. In the summertime, they're out almost all the time. But here's the cool thing. I don't know if you realize this or if you know this. Goats hate water. They just almost refuse to step in water. They won't cross like a creek or a pond. They will not walk out in it. They don't like to be rained on, things like that. So you have to cross a creek. You have to drive across a creek to get to my house. So for them to get to the road, they'd have to cross that creek. And in 5 years of having goats, I've never had one walk across that creek. So to answer your question, yes, I just turn them out. They've got 110 acres. I do have a couple neighbors, but they're large property owners, and it's mostly brush and timber. And they've even said, I don't care if those goats come over here and eat brush because they're not hurting my grass. So, yeah, I turn them out a lot. They just kind of free range. They come back. So it's funny. I can turn them out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they'll take off running like they're starving to death. And if that's 7, by 9 o'clock, they're all sitting up here at the barn just laying around, relaxing, and then they'll drift off for a couple hours and come back. They may come back 3 or 4 times in a day, and without fail, they are back at the barn every night. And if they're not here when I'm getting ready to leave, all I got to do is get a bucket of feed and shake it and call them. They come running. So they're not hard to get back in at all. Living Like Claire's back. Little Bean says, love your videos. Glad you do the live chats. Man, the live chat's fun. I mean, I try to do them when I can. I just can't always get on here. So I try. But thanks. I appreciate it. Susan Sullivan says, love me some Mr. Brown too. How do you not? Everybody has to love Mr. Brown. He's such a cool little kid and an awesome family. I love their channel. Texas Boy says, we vote homeschool for Houston. You know, I tried. I really actually did try. My wife wasn't going for it. She stayed home. Okay, so my wife was a stay-at-home parent for 9 years. So from probably 6 months before Emily was born, she was a stay-at-home parent. Stayed here for 9 years. You know, after Emily was born, then 3 or 4 years later, we had Houston. Everything's great. She stayed home. She's just not into the homeschool thing. And I understand because several different reasons, but it's just not for us. But so by the time Houston got about 3.5, 4 years old, she had been here for almost 9 years and was ready to go do something else. So we just can't do the homeschool thing. Holy cow, I'm behind on the comments. Texas Boy says your goats look super healthy. Well, I try. I try my best. I mean, sometimes they go through spurts where they get parasites and worms and things, but I try to keep them in good shape, try to keep them healthy. But like I said, most of the time they're free ranging. I only really feed them during kidding season and when they got babies, when they're needing that extra nutrition to put on milk. But as soon as it starts greening up a little bit, I'm not feeding them at all, and they do really well on browse and forage, and they kind of take care of themselves, so it's pretty nice. Joe Nifty Thrifty Not Quite 50 says hello from right here in Oklahoma in Midwest City for work call, home about 30 miles east. I have an uncle that lives in Midwest City. That's awesome. Thanks for watching. Laura Beetle says, I know billies stink, but do the females smell as bad? No. The females don't smell at all. They're much cleaner. And honestly, the billies, yeah, your billies stink, but it's only during breeding season for the most part. Once breeding season's over, they quit. You know, during breeding season, they're real territorial and they're always peeing on their beard and their backs of their front legs, and they stink bad. Trust me, all the time then. But the rest of the year, not so much. Every once in a while, they'll have a little bit of a smell to them, but the females, no. Females are clean. They're actually a very clean animal. Texas Boy says you probably don't have to worm them. Well, that's kind of why I'm switching to Kikos from boars. Boar goats get parasites bad, and you have to worm them all the time. Kikos are a parasite-resistant breed of goats, and you don't have to worm them much at all. Matter of fact, the goal of most purebred Kiko producers is they don't want to worm their animals at all, so they cull the ones that they do have to worm. Randall Shaw says, we're trying a little backyard homestead here in Rhode Island. I want to build a mini version of your hot tunnel. There's a lot of good ideas on YouTube. Either using cattle panels, you make a wooden frame and use cattle panels, or PVC pipe, or any. There's a lot of good ideas to build something similar on a much smaller basis and at a lot cheaper. The cattle panel ideas seem to work great. There's a lot of people that are doing that. Homestead Dad says, what are the Kikos mostly used for? Meat, milk, or other? Kikos are a meat goat. Kikos were originally a feral goat in New Zealand, and they took those feral goats and crossed them a little bit with some dairy goats and gave them a little more milk, put a little bit more flesh on them, and kind of took them off from there. They're a meat goat. They're not a milk goat. They're not going to produce much milk at all, but since they were feral goats for a long time, they're very hardy. They're parasite resistant. They're probably the absolute best mothers around. Joe Heffelblower says, new subscriber, where did you get the high tunnel greenhouse? Okay, so that high tunnel, I've got a whole playlist on my channel if you go check it out under NRCS high tunnel construction. I applied for a grant through the NRCS through our local extension office and was approved the first year. And it was a cost share program for soil erosion. So I paid a percentage and the NRCS paid a percentage. It's kind of a grant under the Farm Bill. So that's the short version of that. Susan Sullivan said, I bet you don't get trolls in here. I've never had a problem with trolls at all, personally. Some of the other channels in the Homestead Network have had a lot of problems with trolls. But my videos, my live stream, are during the middle part of the day and, or mid-morning. So most of the trolls are probably still in bed because they don't have a life. Tara says, homeschooling is something we never thought homeschooling is something we thought we would never do, but we love it and so glad we do. I understand. I get it. And I do. I wish we could do it, but it's just not for us. Not right now. Homestead Dad, I scrolled past a bunch of comments because I was way behind, guys. So if I missed anything, let me know. If I missed your question, just ask again because the comments are coming through pretty fast, and I know there's a pretty good delay in my stream right now. Um, Homestead Dad says, can you use the top rails? You can use top rails and bend them for making hoop houses. Yeah. What he's talking about is top rail for chain link fence. So if you go to a store and ask for chain link fencing materials, they've got top rail, and it's just it's not aluminum, it's galvanized steel, and you can bend it into the hoops. Works great. You'd have to build you a jig of some sort to bend your hoops the same every time, but it would work great. Tealhouse Farm says, could you breed a Kiko with a milk goat and get a dual purpose, or is that asking for trouble? I'm sure you could. You're probably going to lose quite a bit of milk production. So if you're looking for milk goats, if you want to milk your goats, go with the dairy breeds. Go with a good dairy breed, and you're going to have male kids. You're going to have Billy kids. You just ban them. There's nothing says you can't make meat goats out of them. So if you're wanting a dual purpose, there's some good dairy breeds out there that are big. You get into like Nubians or Alpines, I believe, are a pretty big goat. If you're looking for getting meat off of your own herd, some of those dairy breeds are going to produce quite a bit of meat. They're obviously not going to make like a boar who is just strictly a meat goat that's got bones in his leg that's big around, But if you're looking for your own uses and your own purposes, just go with the dairy breeds. Because I'm afraid if you start crossing them up too much, you're not going to get near as much milk off of your milk goats. Hey, my wife is on here. Do you see that? She says, "Oh, look how hot you look. Love you." Now I don't know what to say. Oh, my wife's not supposed to watch my live stream, guys. This is getting a little weird now. She's at work. Aren't you supposed to be working? Because you tell me you're so busy because it's tax season. You don't have time to watch my videos when I send them to you at work. You got to work. You don't have time to watch your videos. Laura Beetle says, how long from the time you filled the paperwork out for the grant until the time of building the high tunnel? Thank you for sharing the info. Okay, so it's kind of a long process depending on when you fill out the grant because they only give the money out a certain time of year. So they take a full year's worth of applicants and go over all the applications and see who's going to get approved, and then they disperse the money if you're approved. So it depends on when you go in and fill out the application. I don't remember when their disbursement period was. I want to say it was early spring, like this time of year. But I can't remember. But it did take, when I applied, it was about 6 months before I had the funding approved. Back on the goats, Rick and Alicia said, I raised Nubian goats and I love them. Nubians are great goats. Nubians produce a lot of milk, and if you're wanting a little bit of meat for your own family, there's nothing wrong with Nubians. They're a great goat. And if you're looking for a dual purpose, get your dairy goats, get your dairy does that you're gonna milk, and then buy you a meat, like a boar or Kiko Billy, so you're still gonna get a good milk. You're going to get a good milking out of your does, but your kids will be crossed, so you got more of a meat goat kid. Now, you're not going to want to milk that second generation necessarily because they're going to way drop on their milk production. Chickle Wolf says, should we leave you guys alone? No. Homestead Dad says, my NRCS agent just pushed back my appointment today another couple weeks until our next appointment. Well, good luck, Homestead Dad. In our area, it was super easy to get approved the year I applied. And then the following year, there were 2 or 3 people that told me they applied and didn't get approved. So it varies from year to year. It depends on the farm bill and it depends on how much money the feds are pushing out into your area. Because some states get more money than others, depending on your agriculture in your area, the way they explained it to me. Laura wants to know if there's any tips on getting approved. You know, just get to know your NRCS agent. Don't be afraid to go in and sit down and talk to those people. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you want to do. Tell them your goals, why you're wanting that thing. Because they're the ones that are, yeah, the ultimate decision may come from higher than them. But if you go in and you get to know those people and you befriend them and they understand what you're doing, they're more likely to help you out in the long run. That makes sense. So I had really good luck with the people in my area. They were awesome and they did everything in the world they could to help me get approved. My wife, DJ, says, I'm not watching all of it. Geez, I just got a notification. I'm very busy, but I do love you and I thought I'd tell you. Well, that's sweet. So, see you later. Texas boys, got to go, got to get busy with schoolwork. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'm not going to be here too much longer, so you probably won't miss much. Homestead Dad says, are Kikos escape artists like you hear with most goats? So, most goats are going to, let me put it this way. Most people say if your fence won't hold water, it won't hold a goat. And I have found that very true with pygmy goats. We had some pygmy goats for a while. That was my wife's idea. She was, believe it or not, my wife was the first person to go out and buy goats. It was her. She started this. Just saying. But pygmies will get out of anything. The Kikos, I haven't had too much problem with mine, except during breeding season. So if you're trying to separate a buck from the does when they're wanting to breed, they're going to be hard to keep apart. You better have some good fences. I haven't had too much problem though. The lady that I bought a lot of my Kikos from, she bought a really, really nice, expensive, several $1,000 Kiko buck from like Tennessee, and that thing is like a deer. She's got him kind of controlled now, but he can almost just clear a 5 or 6 foot tall fence. She's had to build really tall fences where she keeps him because he'll just jump out. Now, as long as he's out with the does, he won't jump over a fence that's 3 feet tall. But if he's locked up by himself and he can't get to the does, she said he can jump like a deer. So some are hard to keep in and some aren't. Homestead Box says, minority and women farmers get preference with NRCS, so do young and first-time farmers. Well, there you go. So, in response to the Homestead Box, I think he's right. I'm technically still a young farmer and a minority because I'm Native American. So I'm Chickasaw. I'm part of the Chickasaw tribe, card-carrying Indian. Anyways, so that put me in a minority category and the young. So Homestead Box may be, if that's Sam, I'm pretty sure it's probably Sam watching. He may be on to something there because they do some preference for different different categories. Rebecca said, got to run. Everybody, see you later. Goodbye, Rebecca. Justin Frederick, my man, what's up? I asked for the buck question. The question I already answered about, I'm confused on the buck. What were you wanting to know? Or did I answer it already? Oh, you asked for the buck video. Okay, I got you. Well, there you go. That was why I did that, because you and one or two other people had kept mentioning, hey, you're never showing the bucks any love. You never show your billy goats. And everybody seemed to want to see them. So, but thanks for suggesting that. So, Tealhouse Farm says, have you ever tried electric fence for the goats? We were thinking about trying some. Okay, so electric fence isn't something I've had any success with for goats. Keeping them in. Keeping them out of something, I have had success. And I know that makes no sense at all, but I did fence off a field. I put like 5-strand hot wire up, put the goats in it, and most of them would stay in for a while until they figured out all they had to do was get their head through. And once they got their head through, of course, it wasn't net. It was just single strand, like 5-wire, single strand hot wire. If they just get their head through, they just push right through it because there's no tension on the line really. Now my garden is surrounded by 3-wire hot wire. My goats are out all the time, and I've never had a problem with goats getting in the garden. The only ones that have ever got in there were the little bitty babies that could fit under, and once they get very big, they get shocked a few times, they quit going in. So keeping goats in the hot wire pasture, terrible. It didn't work out for me at all. Now, if it would have been like the mesh electric fence like you see on Justin Rhodes' channel, that might work a little better. But keeping them in, no luck at all. Keeping them out of my garden with a hot wire has worked great because there's plenty of room for them to roam. When I'm trying to keep them in, they're in a small area and they want out. So hope that helps. Don wants to know, what does goat meat taste like? Do you process your goats? Okay, so we don't eat our goats. I probably would eat a bunch of them. It wouldn't bother me. I've eaten some. My wife's not a huge fan. But here's the thing. We butcher a cow every couple of years. So when you're putting 1,000 pounds of, or 700-800 pounds of beef in your freezer, there's no reason to butcher a goat for us. The meat goat deal for us is just a farm business. They keep the brush eat down. They help clean the place up, and we raise the kids about 50-60 pounds and sell them. Not going to say we make a lot of money off of them, but they are profitable, I think. And the main thing is they allow us to have that farm exemption on our taxes. So we're still considered a farm. We get a tax ID number, and we can use that to write off things on our taxes that are farm related. So goat meat taste is, I would say, similar to a deer. Kind of tastes like venison, but it's not near as gamey. Similar to beef, but it's not nearly, there's almost no fat in goat meat. It's very, very lean. So without having fat in it, you have to be careful or you'll overcook it really easy. So no, we don't process our goats. I have a friend that does, and he's given us some goat meat several times, and I like it. It tastes it tastes a lot like beef, but it has a little bit of that venison game smell taste to it, but not bad. Mon Paul Time Homestead says, how do you feel about what they are treating the water? What? Protectors. How do you feel about what they are treating the water protectors? I don't know what you're asking there, Mom, Paul Homestead. Maybe I just I don't understand the question. Homestead Box. I know a local guy who has small goats in netting, but they get out all the time. I mean, that's the thing. Goats, if they can ever get their head under that netting, I think they just go straight out. I mean, that was how they were with my electric fencing. If they could just get their head through, they bust right through. So if they can get their head under that electric net, they're gone, I'm sure. Felicia Jackson says, hello, Daniel. I haven't been on here in a while. How many baby goats do you have now? I think I've got 9 right now. I've got it all written down. I have a hard time keeping track. But I think there's 9 babies right now. I should have had 20, really. It's not been a great year for my kid crop, and I've talked about that on my channel a lot. I've had a selenium deficiency, and I had 2 mamas abort their twins early, so they were born dead. I had one mama had twins. One was born alive, one was born dead, and the other one died like within a day. And then I lost that one baby in the video the other day. So I've lost quite a few It's not been a good year, but I'm working on it. I think I know what's causing the problem, so, but it's just too late for this year. Homestead Box says, I disagree. I think goat's stronger than deer. Well, you're probably quite a good ways north of me. You're probably in country where deer are on crops. Where you're probably, if I remember right, you're probably farther north where you got lots of corn and soybeans and big ag fields. And if that's true, your deer are a lot different than ours. Everyone I've ever talked to says a northern deer tastes a lot different than a southern deer. Our deer down south are pretty gamey sometimes. They're not growing up. They're not living off of cornfields and soybean fields and all that stuff. They're kind of having to fend for themselves, eating native natural browse and acorns and things like that. So, well, I'm wrong. You're in South Georgia. Well, that's still true about North and South deer. So I don't know, but so if you're in South Georgia, I don't know. Are you in cropland or what? I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But to me, in the goat that I've eaten and the deer that I've eaten, goat is nowhere near as gamey to me. So, oh, okay. Ma and Pa was talking about the Native Americans that are praying to protect the water. Okay, so I haven't got into all that, I really haven't studied all of what's going on with all that. It's not here in my area necessarily. I mean, so I really haven't studied that. I'm not gonna kind of dive into a subject I really don't know a lot about. So I apologize. I really can't answer that. Don Quixote says, "What predators do you have around your farm?" For the chickens, everything that walks is a predator. We've got raccoons, um, possums, fox, coyotes, bobcats, everything. Um, Hawks, eagles, owls, everything eats a chicken. The goats, really, about the only predators I'd say we've got. Well, dogs, stray dogs, um, coyotes, and bobcats. But I've never lost anything to a predator as far as the goats go. I've never lost a goat to predators, but I do have a Great Pyrenees, and she stays outside. She doesn't run with the goats all the time. She kind of stays close to the house, but um, I've never lost one. But I do have trail cameras out all the time, so I know we got lots of coyotes and we got several bobcats and a few fox. I don't think the fox would mess with them, but I haven't had a problem with predators getting on my goats yet. Now, one of my best friends was real big into hair sheep, and at one time he had like 75 ewes, and coyotes found his sheep, and he had 2 or 3 dogs running with him, and he couldn't even stay in the business because the coyotes were killing all his baby sheep so fast. Back on that water pipeline issue, Susan Sullivan said, I'm Native American too, but I think you have to pick your battles. And then Teresa Dean says, Susan, I feel the same way. All I would like to see that pipeline doesn't go through the water supply. So I'm not up to date on that. I really don't know enough about it to talk about it. So One Lost Dude says, what about wild pigs? Yes, we have lots of wild pigs. I haven't had a problem with them as far as being predators. I know they will. I've got a video, and I don't think it may be on my YouTube channel from way back when. I took a deer carcass. I killed a deer, took the bones and the gut pile, and put it out in a field and put a trail camera on it. And in one night, those hogs destroyed it. They ate every bit of it. The bones were even gone. They drug the bones off. So the hogs can be predators. I just haven't had any problems as far as that goes because they don't come close to the house. Don Quixote says, how many acres is your farm? 110. I've got 110 acres. And then there's actually a national park, and it's a public hunting area during certain times of year. on one side of me, and then a neighbor that's 500 acres on the other, and 250 acres on another neighbor. So it's kind of isolated back here. Homestead Box says we've been defending lambs lately. It seems like, at least around here, people that have hair sheep and sheep lose a lot more of their lambs to predators than people with goats, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if the lambs are just, I don't know. I don't know. Are they? Is there something different about them? Because a lot of the people that have sheep, I've heard lose a lot of them to predators. Teresa Dean talking to Susan said, I haven't been able to watch most live streams. I don't know the show times. Hey, that's easy. Just get online and go over to thehomesteadnetwork.com. Brad has a website set up, and it's got all the show times, and it'll tell you. I mean, it'll tell you when and who and what time they're coming on and everything. So just go to that. Um, that'll tell you when all the show times are and everything. I don't really get a chance to watch a lot of the shows. I go back and try to catch some of them later. I don't catch many of them live either. So it's tough, man. There's so many live shows now. It's hard to catch them all. Susan Sullivan said, I just make sure I'm subscribed. Yeah, if you subscribe and then you hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, it'll notify you anytime they're going live, or should. Teresa Dean says, are sheep and goats the same? What do you mean, are they the same as far as, like, what do you want to know? I mean, they're obviously different animals, but oh, Brad took the website down? Well, there you go. I'm out of the loop. I didn't know Brad took the website down. I didn't know it was closed. Um, I'm out of the loop, guys. I don't know. I'm part of the Homestead Network, but I've told a few people. There was all kinds of drama going on, and I really didn't know it. People were telling me there was drama. I just do my own thing. I had one little issue with one person that lasted several days, I guess, but I wouldn't have said it was a troll by any means. But anyways, more of a crazy, I don't know, weird situation. So I guess the website's taken down. I didn't know that. People with sheep use donkeys instead of dogs to guard. Now, here there are quite a few people, even with goats, that'll keep a donkey or two out. If they've got a big enough property, if their pastures are big, they'll put a donkey or two out there, and they are excellent guards for sheep and goats. Teresa Dean said the interaction between the streams and trolls was just nasty. Yeah, I didn't catch any of it. I didn't have any problems on my channel necessarily. So Wheat Tree says unsubscribe from the drama. Yeah, Amanda Freedom Maker says me too. I didn't realize that the website was taken down. Yeah, I'm out of the loop. Oh well. Oh, just the schedule portion. Okay, so the website's still up, but the schedule is down. Okay, that makes sense. Just to not give the trolls a way to know who's coming on. Okay. P Sig in 87. Hello, hey, I live in Ada. I drive through Sulphur every other weekend to go see my boyfriend. Well, what's up, neighbor? She's Ada's 30 miles from me, so she's just right up the road. So when you're driving through Sulphur, you better drive slow, because I'll be out there watching some days. Susan says the lineup on the Homestead Network's changing, and they'll put it back up shortly. Okay. Don Quixote says, how long have you been in law enforcement? Thank you for your service. I have been in law enforcement almost 11 years. It will be 11 years in May of this year. Started in May of 2006. Been in the same job, doing the same thing for 11 years. Well, guys, that's about all I've got. Oh, she's okay. So, haha, my username is pronounced peace sign 87. Peace sign. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, that makes sense. Peace sign 87. Peace sign. Peace sign. Gotcha. Good to know. Anyway, so um, Homestead Box says, "Why do you think? Why did I think you lived in Alabama? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know." Everyday Rosales says, "Hi neighbor, I'm in Ada too." So we got two people from Ada. Two people. So there's been several people from around my area on here today on the live. Teresa Dean says, "Daniel, how do you get your cruiser through that water hole you have?" Well, it's only about 2 inches deep most of the time. I mean, it's just a low water crossing. Drive right through it. It's not hard at all. When the creek gets up, we kind of have to plan ahead and make sure our vehicles are on the other side. So it's not a problem at all. It's matter of fact, I've even got it asphalted going up the hill now. So I had some asphalt poured and put out. But anyways, so unless somebody else has got a question, then I'm probably just gonna end this thing. It's 11 o'clock, been on about an hour, so need to get some stuff done. Peace sign says, "I just stumbled across your channel from the Fundamental Home." You know, that's awesome. I'm glad you found me. Amanda at the Fundamental Home is her channel is really cool. She does a great job, and there's actually a couple videos, and I'm sure you probably saw it, from the Frugal Family Food collaboration where she was kind of supporting my channel. So she's awesome. Homestead Box want to know if I'm going to Mother Earth, Texas. I haven't looked into that yet. I was wanting to go last year, but it just didn't work out. I'll have to look it up because I'm not exactly sure when it is. Do you know when it is right offhand? Might have to start planning on something. Yeah, Oki's in the house today. Peace on. Yes, I love watching her and Tangy. They're awesome. They're great. Great people. Maybe if we can get Sam to answer me back about the Mother Earth News Texas event. I'll wait on his response, and then I'll probably go ahead and sign off for the day. Oh, wow. February 17th and 18th? Probably won't make it. I don't know. That's not far away at all. I didn't realize. I thought it was in the spring, like later in the spring. I'll look it up and try to see, but just going off the top of my head, I probably won't be able to make. It's too soon, too short. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully, if everything works out, we'll be back here next Friday at 10 a.m. and maybe I'll get quite a few more videos put out between now and then. I've really been trying hard to get more videos put out, more content, and everyone seems to be enjoying it. So, but thanks for coming on the live chat today, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later.